Okay. Hi guys, I'm Nikki.
And I'm Whitney.
And we are Real Moms Hang Tough. We want to start by thanking you for all of the support last week. So, we started something new.
We really appreciate it. We started something new. It was scary. It was nerve-wracking. You don't know how those things are going to go. And all the love and support and outpour was really validating, and we really appreciate it.
So, we're back again today.
Here we are.
So, since we're talking about things that are new, we did something else new this summer. So, we did our very first, what do we call it? Mom and Kids
Extravaganza.
Weekend Extravaganza. That's right. So,
We forgot.
right. We have to title everything. So, what did we do?
We went to Great Wolf Lodge. We packed all the kids in the car. We went to Great Wolf Lodge up in Traverse City, Michigan. And we had a great time.
We did.
We did. It was a lot of fun. We'd do it again in a heartbeat.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So, what did we learn?
What did we learn?
I'll tell you one thing. Can we talk about snacks?
So much snacks. So much snacks. Just buy one of every snack.
All of the snacks.
Mm-hmm.
Just like pack the van full of snacks and like the top
Underwear.
of the van. Snacks and underwear. That's all you need
Yep.
for any type of trip involving kids. So,
And a swimsuit. Because if you're taking kids, there's a pool of some kind.
right, yeah. And they don't like it when you don't have a swimsuit.
Please.
Right.
Please wear your swimsuit. As a whole.
So you need
Don't,
you need a swimsuit.
don't show up naked.
Yeah, right. That's just a rule you should live by.
No matter
For-
what.
for
no
most
matter
things in
where
life,
you're
yeah.
going. Yeah.
Don't be naked.
Don't be naked.
I have to admit, going into it, sleeping was my biggest fear.
Yeah.
So I was afraid with all of us in one room, even though it was one of those really cool kid cabin rooms with the bunk beds and the TV and the cabin separate wall thing. I was like, no one's gonna sleep. We're gonna
Especially after I saw that. I thought the kids were going to be like, this is so cool.
right. So I thought we were gonna be up all night with the like jabbering and
Hoopla.
possible bickering and the like breathing and whatever. So like
Yeah, when my
his
kids
breathing. Whatever they complain about. So, but everybody slept all night long, which was really awesome. We had one little hiccup.
We did. My son Otto, 20 minutes into being at the water park, maybe, came down the little kid slide, put him on the side so that he could walk back up, and he wasn't even running. He slipped and fell and hit his head on the corner of the like fake rock decor.
Yeah.
And like since it was on the corner and it's fake rock, so it's like metal underneath, I'm assuming, it was quite the gash. It was a little notch out of the poor kid's head. So I gather him up, he's bleeding, he's crying, I take him to the med center. I've got the other one with me, the twin, obviously, and he's like trying to wander away because he's like, I'm not hurt.
going swimming.
Right,
All this is going on, and I have no clue because I'm off with my kids who aren't old enough to do the things. You have to be 14 apparently to go down the slides without a person who's 14. So I'm strolling through the thing, and this woman I don't know comes up and she's like, "Are you Nicole?" And I was like, "Yes." And she's like, "Your sister wanted me to bring Zeke to you because her other little one had a little accident." And I was like, oh man, because I'm thinking a little accident means like bathroom accident. And she had to go like change him, and Zeke didn't want to go or something. So I was like, okay, come
Thank
on.
goodness it wasn't that, because then it'd be like that mom. The mom
So-
who'd like shut
Well,
down
even
the
if
water
you just
park
like had to
and-
leave to go change him, and it wasn't
True.
like in the water.
That's true.
So I'm like, okay, and then I found out what really happened. But luckily, like, he was such a trooper.
He really was. Like, we concluded that it wasn't a concussion. He didn't throw up. He didn't have like the dizzy eyes. He was totally normal. He was eating.
And he wanted to swim.
And he wanted, once he calmed down and realized he was going to be okay, he wanted to go back swimming, and he
did.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I mean, he didn't jump right in, but he eased his way back in, and he was fine. And he got a wolf,
Right.
stuffed animal that from the med center that was like a bandaged wolf with his little arm and a sling and a band-aid on his head, and
Which made all the other kids die of jealousy.
yeah, because got a free stuffed animal.
Right. And they're like, where's our stuffed animal?
Right, why didn't we get a stuffed animal?
But so we made it, and then
We made
everybody
it.
slept. It was awesome. We got up in the morning. We had breakfast with smiles all around.
Yeah, Ada woke up and said, "I feel better, Mommy," which just makes your heart feel so much better because
Yeah.
you just don't know how those things are gonna go.
Right. So we got a pre-swim photo in the
Smiles.
lobby.
Smiles.
All around. Everybody looked. It's practically a miracle in itself. So,
Right.
Right. We swam until we wore them out, and then we threw them in the van.
Room in the van. And then this girl, genius, seasoned mom here, brought a loaf of bread, a jar of peanut butter, and jelly. Squeezable jelly, which I didn't even know was a thing until then. I was still out of the jar jelly, Mom.
That's because I'm lazy.
And we were getting kids in and buckled in and blankets and pillows and their stuffed animals and everything. And I'm in the back.
Water bottles and whatever.
Right, I'm in the back making sandwiches and passing out chips and juice boxes, and everybody's in. We close all the doors and we start driving, and everybody eats and doesn't complain and then falls asleep.
Asleep. All 5 of them, sound asleep the whole ride home. Which, like, what more can you ask for?
Right.
So that's a sign of a
They're-
successful trip. Smiles all around, tired, sleeping on the way home.
They lived.
Right. Yeah, and they lived. So that was our first with that. Another first we want to talk about tonight is fangirling firsts. So for us, well, for me, fangirling started around like 6th or 7th grade. So I'm 6 years older than her, which
So that made me like kindergarten, first grade.
Yeah. So my Aunt Sharon bought me my very first New Kids on the Block tape. You know, remember those?
Things plastic.
Blue
with,
plastic
you
with
get
a
a
thing.
pencil and
Yeah. So, and I wore that thing out in my little blue cassette player. So, yeah, that was when I started. I started out with it was the Hangin' Tough album, and I played it all the time.
And my fangirling started when her fangirling started, but I wasn't allowed. I wasn't allowed in. I wasn't allowed to listen. I wasn't allowed to do anything because the stupid little sister.
Annoying, at least.
But so she wouldn't let me borrow her tape. She wouldn't let me come in and hang out with her because that was just never gonna happen. So she would shut the door in my face, and I would sit behind on the other side of the door and listen while she was in there doing whatever she was doing without me.
Right, which I learned about this evening. Didn't know that was happening. So I'm sure if I'd known, I would have opened
She would open the door and yelled at me.
Right,
She is listening to the thing I'm playing.
so annoying. Like
She's just sitting out here, not
is my
bothering me,
tape.
but she's annoying.
She's listening to my tape. I'm sure.
That you were blasting through the whole house. I'm sure everybody.
Yeah, I'm sure. Sorry, Mom.
Right? Yeah. Sorry, Mom.
Sorry, Mom.
We all did that
So-
as teenagers.
So even though we had that back then, we got really lucky, and our very first New Kids on the Block concert we got to do together.
Yes.
So in 2010, when they did the New Kids on the Block Backstreet Boys tour, the two of us went with our cousin Lori, my bestie Jenny, and our friend Holly. So that was super awesome. And when we got there, we found out it wasn't sold out. So
Right.
they
they
we
let
got
us-
to upgrade our seats, which was awesome, but that split us up. So Whitney and Holly were like over here, and we were a little ways down. Me, Lori, and Jenny. This is where our concert experience took a drastic change of experience.
Okay.
So
Part of that reason is because they had the first act, girl, weird girl. Maybe she's famous. I don't know.
yeah, say, hey, Grand Rapids people,
Right.
if you went to the NKOTB SB concert in 2010, who was the opening act? Because
They had to have found her on the street.
it was very weird and not amazing.
Maybe she's super famous now.
Maybe she is. If you're super famous now, then good
Yay!
for you. Yeah, we are in support of
Right.
you. That was not your best day.
No, it wasn't.
not
It
your-
was terrible.
It was not a good day. So, and then in between that and when all the guys came on, there was a huge period of time of nothing.
I literally thought they weren't coming.
I remember I was texting her because she was a little ways away. Like, maybe they didn't show up and they're gonna come out and send us.
And then I was like, then what do we do? Like, what happens now?
Right. So, but then they did finally come out. You know,
we realized it was
Donnie time.
Donnie time.
Everything
happens on Donnie time.
Everything does happen on Donnie time, and you know, thank the Lord for Donnie.
We love you, Donnie, but get a watch.
So they finally came out. We had the time of our lives.
It was amazing.
It was amazing.
So much fun.
So much fun.
Pretty sure it didn't have much of a voice.
Yeah. No, we never leave a concert with a voice.
No, you're doing it wrong if you are.
Yeah, no, you're supposed to scream. That's the rules. Mm-hmm. So we left the concert, walking down the road to the car, and some dudes walk by and say, "Hey, were you guys at the concert?" And we were like, "Yeah, we were at the concert." Because, you know, we'd had some beverages. And then they're like, "Were you there to see New Kids on the Block or Backstreet Boys?" And I'm like, "New Kids." And Whitney goes, okay, she's not going to tell you because she's embarrassed. Whitney goes, "NSYNC!" And the rest of us were like, what? So we learned in that moment that Whitney had hallucinated NSYNC at the NKOTBSB concert.
To be fair, every time you tell somebody this story, she fails to mention the fact that right before that, we were talking about NSYNC, and I had said that this concert was way more fun than the NSYNC concert that I went to when I was in high school. And then the guy walks by, and Nicole goes, "Woo!" And the last thing on my brain was NSYNC, and it just fell out of my mouth.
I have no memory of this conversation about NSYNC ahead of time.
Of course.
So.
Of course. Of course. That's her story.
Yeah, it's her story. So, my story is much funnier. So that's the one we're sticking with for now.
So, we're just going to stick with your story?
Obviously. So,
Okay, see how it is. Big sisters.
So we want to know all about your first New Kids on the Block concert, or when your
experience.
Fangirling started, or what made you start your fangirling, even if it's not New Kids.
Right.
Maybe it's NSYNC.
Maybe.
Maybe you hallucinated NSYNC at the New Kids on the
Maybe
Block
I'm
concert.
not the only one.
Maybe they were there and I just didn't see them.
Right, yeah, that's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Let us know. Grand Rapids people, were you at the NKOTBSB concert and NSYNC was there and I missed it?
Yes.
Tell us all about it. So where can they find us?
YouTube, please subscribe. Instagram and Facebook. Real Moms Hang Tough.
Yeah. So go and do all the liking and
All
the
the
subscribing
liking
and the following
and the buttons
all the
and the
things
pushing.
and reviewing and comments. We want to hear
All
your
of it.
comments. So,
Right. Or you can email us at realmomshangtough@gmail.com.
so awesome.
The things.
So, yeah. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
See you next week.
See you next week.